Okay, really quickly, I want to talk about something. And I realize what I want to talk about is what I've been seeing about the relationships between black men and black women. I'm not interested in a reconciliation between black men and black women. Um, I remember reading about the Moors and a lot of stuff. I'm gonna tell you where most of the history that I pay attention to came before the first dynasty, basically before Egypt or Kemet or whatever. I don't give much attention to Kemet, Egypt, the Moors. The reason why is because there has always been a hatred for the black woman, even then. The black woman allowed herself to be dethroned, so I'm not going to blame the black man. She did it to herself. But that's why I have nothing really for what you see of the black community today. Before the first dynasty, there was a matriarchy, and it was overturned by black men and black women. You had these black women who were male worshippers who put the black male on the throne to be worshipped, and she turned her back on her own divinity. Now, I just want to say this: if this type of stuff, I'm 100% for nature. I'm 100% for matriarchy, but a healthy matriarchy, not a toxic matriarchy. Matriarchy is what gets you back in order. It's not about the woman being above the male. Okay. So I'm not about putting the father above the mother because the mother had to come first before the father. Nature is feminine. Um, so I'm not for that. And I'm not going to tell anybody else what to believe, but that's not what this is going to be about. I'm not going to, you know, put the male above the female when the female gives birth to the male. I'm just not going to do it. Every time you look around you, you see where the feminine, you see the creator. The creator is the feminine, divine feminine, period. Okay, so I can't get into putting the father above the mother. It just don't look right to me. Okay, but yeah, about the Moors, you know, it's questionable the history of the Moors, and I certainly do not want to get the history from black males, black men. I don't want to get the history from them. I really don't. And if I want to really deep down and do the research, I can find out about the Moors. But what I can say about the Moors is they once ruled Egypt, not Egypt, excuse me. They once ruled Europe for a period of time, like several hundred years. They ruled Europe. So actually, black people have been in rule longer than white people. Here's what you have to ask yourself: if black people have been ruling that long, how did white people get to the point where they were able to take over black folks? Somebody sold somebody out. You got to get to the point that you see that you were sold out by a black man, a black woman. Either way, you were sold out. You were sold out. Now, I'm not trying to say that the white people didn't do terrible things. Yes, they did. But the problem is, I don't like the way the history is told. That's the problem I have is that I don't like the way history is told. Even in what you call the United States of America during slavery, you had black slave masters. Why nobody want to talk about the black slave masters? And you had some of the black slave masters that were more cruel than the white slave masters. Why is it that nobody want to talk about that? It seems like nobody wants to call out black people, and that's the issue that I'm having. Is that nobody want to talk about the mistakes. I don't even want to call it mistakes. It was some really bad judgments, some bad decisions, really a lot of arrogance, thinking that you will never fall. A mistake is when it's like you really don't know better. To me, it's like when you really, really don't know better. But then there is arrogance where you think nothing will ever happen to you. And for me, that was black folks. You thought nothing would ever take you down. And black people need to eat a slice of humble pie because that's the only way you're going to rise back up. And you need to start being honest about what really happened. The Moors took white women as their sex slaves and called them their queens. And black women sat by as they do today and continue to allow stuff to happen. They can sit back just like you see today, and they don't care. They allow they allow their sons to run rogue, and they don't care. They sit back and do nothing and still want to continue to worship them. Let me tell you something. After matriarchy was dethroned, black males, black men, and black women alike. I don't know why black women like to go against themselves. I guess they think it's not going to happen to them. They can help destroy every black woman in the world, but it ain't going to happen to them. I just feel like that's what they think. It would never happen to them. But yes, the black man dethroned the black woman because you had other black women who taught them the mysteries. And if you want to know where that come from, it's a book called The Sibyls, Sybils, by Mama Wata. Now she's not against the black man, like she's not against just black men, period. But she does tell the truth, and she says before there was a race war, there was a gender war between the black man and the black woman, and that was the dethroning of the black woman, dethroning of matriarchy. This was before the Moors. This was before Kemet. I noticed black women, a lot of them only want to go further, go to Kemet in Egypt, and that's it. And that's because they keep listening to black men. I don't really, I don't know if I'm not interested in hearing the truth from black men because I don't think they like to tell it. I don't think they like to tell the truth. Now I want to kind of shout somebody out. I don't really, he don't. I don't think he liked black women either. But I will say that he told the truth about this, and that's Bro Sanchez. I don't watch his content now because once I see that you're down with the organization, I don't listen to your content because it's only so much truth you're gonna tell, and that's when I stop listening to you. And Tariq Nasheed, I'm gonna tell you something. I know somebody asked. I'm not. I don't. I'm not interested in Tariq Nasheed at all. I really do not want to give Tariq Nasheed my attention. Let me tell you what Tariq Nasheed did, and this was somebody else said because I didn't listen to him. Um, Tariq Nasheed just trashes black women. I'm not interested in what he has to say. Now, if another black woman is interested in what he has to say, that's their right. I'm not giving him my attention. I'm just really not listening to Tariq Nasheed. Tariq Nasheed is part of an organization and that organization makes sure that black people don't rise up in consciousness. So people like Tariq Nasheed and and even some women, some black women are part of this same organization. Their task is to make sure that the black people never rise in consciousness. I don't want to listen to these people. I don't want to. No, you best to be back. Black people will want spiritual. You need to get back to being spiritual. I don't care what black people used to do a long time ago, because really what's missing is what did black women do. See, that's the problem. That's what's missing is black women still don't know who they are. They keep listening to black men, and I used to listen to black men too because that was all who was speaking. Okay, that was all who was speaking. But they knew the truth and didn't want to tell you. They just keep wanting to tell you about Egypt and Kemet and the Moors, and they only want to tell you about patriarchy. They do not want to tell you about matriarchy, and that's why I don't like listening to black men. But in the Moors in Europe now, the Moors could have also invaded Europe. It's questionable whether the Moors themselves invaded Europe, and they ruled for hundreds of years. And they took white women as sex slaves. Okay, they took white women as sex slaves. So now people want to talk about the white man and the white master, and I'm not defending the white man. What I'm trying to say is nobody wants to, I don't know why nobody wants to hold black people accountable for their actions. So when a white man come here, United States of America, guess who he took as sex slaves? The white master. Isn't that what the Moors did to the white women? I don't know why black men, I don't know why they cannot be held accountable. Black women refuse to hold the black man accountable. They refuse to do it. I mean, literally, there was a violent overturning of matriarchy. Now, I can go back and read, but I can go back and go over the Sibyls again and read that some more. But I'm not interested in the Moors. I'm not interested in Egypt. I'm not interested in Kemet. I certainly don't want to see nothing that Tariq Nasheed. I'm not interested in Tariq Nasheed at all. I'm just not. Um, and I don't know who this was that said it, but they were talking about the foundational Black Americans, the FBA, and they were talking about getting reparations. And so Tariq Nasheed, this person said Tariq Nasheed was talking about reparations. I don't know if somebody said this in a comment or did I see somebody video. I cannot even remember. But this, I do remember this part right here. He was talking about reparations for Black people. But he said reparations cannot go to Black women unless they are married to a Black man. It will not go to single mothers. I don't understand. For me, I personally don't understand why Black women support Tariq Nasheed. Now, the person that sent me the videos about, I'm not saying that that person supports Tariq Nasheed, but a lot of Black women support Tariq Nasheed, and Tariq Nasheed does not support Black women. This is just something I continue to see. This is a pattern that I continue to see. This comment said that Tariq Nasheed was talking about reparations. Talk about how reparations will not go to Black women. It's not for single Black mothers. She has to be married to a Black man. She had to have a Black man in the house, but she has to be married to him. That's the only way. Other than that, she can't get no dog on reparations being a single woman and being a single mother. She must have a Black man and be married to a Black man. Now, what's the problem with that? A lot of Black men don't want to marry no Black woman. I mean, I don't know, I don't know why it's so much relationship coaching for Black women on how to get a Black man when they're not interested in marrying Black. You might have some Black men that's interested in marrying Black women, but for the most part, they're not interested in marrying a Black woman, and they're not interested in marriage. So that already don't sound right. Um, Last thing I want to talk about, and this is what I'm gonna say I saw beyond the physical when it comes to Black men and Black women. Black men have their own heaven. I literally saw. I'm gonna tell you what I saw beyond the physical. I'm gonna tell you what I saw in the non-physical. I saw this room and I saw this man sitting on the throne, like he was on a big throne, and it was like they were wearing pink and red, like Valentine's Day colors. I saw Prince and I saw other Black men, and I saw this one man sitting on the throne. He was very tall. That let me know that he had some kind of power, and they were in another dimension, and they was like, it looked like it was a type of heaven. But I'm gonna tell you who I didn't see. I didn't see Black women. They're not interested in including Black women. I'm gonna tell you something. I'm not interested in any type of relationship with Black women that continue to hold on to Black men. I've been seeing Black men in other realms where they're not interested in helping Black women. They only want to sacrifice Black women for them to get to where they want to go. But the Bible says heaven and hell would pass away, and heaven look like to me is for Black men, because that's what I keep seeing in the non-physical. Heaven is for Black men. And that's the only problem I have with Father God, is that they're not, the Father God don't seem to be interested in Black women. But that's a matter of opinion. That's not a fact. It's based on what I've seen in the non-physical. Now somebody else can say they went to heaven, and that's fine if that's what they say. But over the almost 3 years of what I've been going through, I've been shown a lot of revelations about Black men, and this is beyond the physical, not the physical, beyond the physical. And they have no interest in helping Black women get to heaven. They're sacrificing Black women, and they themselves get to this place called heaven. This dimension I saw. Ain't no Black women there, no white women are there, no women are there. It's only men, only Black men, no white men, no Asian men, no, only Black men, nobody else. I'll tell you something else I saw. Um, I was doing something. I was doing a kind of meditation. And As I was dozing off, I was being taken to a place, and I was saying, "Spirit, if you don't mind, if this is what I'm supposed to be doing, then take me to this place." And then this aggressive energy took me even more. Like the energy became more aggressive as it was taking me to this place. And I said, "Spirit, spirit, okay, I don't want to. I know, but spirit is this particular masculine energy that's been talked about on YouTube." But so I ended up in this place, and they were giving me a new body. So because the spirit saw that I would be the person to help bring. I'm not even gonna say black people. I'm gonna say black men, because when I went to this place, I only saw black men once again. And I saw this black man who was like, his body kept falling apart. Like they would kept trying to give all these black men in this room these new bodies, and the bodies weren't working. And so they bought me because they saw I was going to be the person to raise everything up. I'm just going to tell you how it happened. They saw I was going to be the person to raise everything up. The woman, I was the only woman in that room. It was all black men, no other women. They're not interested in helping black women. They're not interested. And so and they gave me another body. I have to get into my new body, but they gave me a new body. And then I went back a second time where it was a woman there. See, so there's still a woman that oversees everything. Even though there's nothing but black men, there is this woman who oversaw everything. And she was doing something to my body, like sealing stuff, to make sure my body don't get messed with. My new body does not get messed with. And I saw all these black men as like they weren't making it, like their bodies were falling apart because they were going to try to go by themselves. They were just going to leave the black women behind. They were trying to go by themselves, and they brought me there because I know they know that they ain't getting nowhere without they can't, they trying to get somewhere without the woman, and it's not working out. I don't see two separate times where it ain't working out. And even when I saw this dimension where they wearing pink and green, and I mean pink and red and stuff, and it's place, it looked like a heaven. For it still looked like they need to sacrifice black women for them to rise up like that. They can't just do it by doing their own inner work. They sacrificing black women so they can get there. That's just what I saw, and I see it time and time and time again. The stuff that I was going through these past almost 3 years, I see some stuff going on with white folks. But the major people, when I get finished seeing the white people doing stuff, the people that's above them are still black men. My problems have been coming from black men in the non-physical. White people too. When I say white people, I'm talking about white women and the white men alike. But when you get beyond above the white people that's doing stuff, it's the mostly black men. I see nothing but black men. I might see a few black women who want to help them because they just insist on just being a slave. Okay? But for the most part, I see black men. And you have this one black woman who's willing to help him in his whatever he wants to do. Because she always feels like it's not going to happen to her. So anyway, with that said, I'm done. I'm not interested in the black community and helping the black community. Okay. Yeah, and that's all I got to talk about. That's the reason why that's the issue I have with the black community, because I just see that there is no reconciliation between the black men and the black women as we see it. You have to now brown in the higher worlds and the higher frequencies. You have to raise up in frequency to see better groups of. And I don't think they call themselves black people. They call themselves black in this realm, so I'm going to call them black. But in the higher worlds, I don't believe they're calling themselves black, and I'm not going to call them black because that's not what they're calling themselves. I have seen brown men and brown women and stuff like that. Um, but they're in the higher realms. But from what we see right now, most of the black men that we see, most of them, um, they they not interested in helping black women. Um, so anyway, that is it, and I will talk later.